Geoff here in the print shop today, and I want to talk to you about a project that I completed a little over 10 years ago. And I think it's really exciting because if you take a book art class or two with me, you're going to be right on the cusp of being able to do projects just like this. In fact, if you're my typical students, you're going to blow me away, and I can't wait to see that happen. But I want to share this with you because it was really fun to do. It had a message, has a message, and I think it could be inspiring to some students. So here it is. It's a long, skinny book in a dust cover, and this book was made to be handled by my students. So it's very, very tired. The ends come off. I'm really excited to have dug this up because I want to make a new box for it, and I want to put new boards on it. This is a concertina or an accordion book on boards. It is over 40 feet long. I think that's really cool. It's a single image that's over 40 feet long. So let's get into this. Switch cameras. I'll throw this down on the board. And as I said, it's the binding itself is exhausted. The box is exhausted. But we're here to talk about the concept and to talk about the text plate, the text block. So you can even see I don't know if that's worn through or dirt. It doesn't matter. It's going to get replaced. This ribbon wraps around the text, and the idea is that you pull the ribbon from this end and the book slides out. And I think that's worth seeing because it's pretty neat. So let me get that back in here. Keep bumping the mic. I hope you're not listening to that. Okay, so this sits in here, and you just pull this ribbon. Isn't that elegant? Isn't that elegant? I think I'd like it better if we're on the bottom. I guess, no, it can't. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I guess whenever you talk about books, you need to talk about scale and size. So this book is 9.5 inches long. It's about 3 inches wide, and in the slipcase, it's an inch and a quarter deep. And this box does have a top and bottom, and that's why I can't flip the box around to put the ribbon on the bottom. All right, so it's on hinges. It's a hardback book on hinges, like a hardback book you'd buy at the store. But inside of that, it's a concertina or accordion book. So let's first of all let's look at the spine. The title is Road Rage, and this was done in letterpress. I wish I'd had a larger typeface or used a larger typeface. I don't remember what type was available to me then. It is what it is. It was a long time ago, and I'm in a different print shop now. So now we're going to pull this out. Ooh. This is a very worn cover. Again, students have handled this like crazy. It's half bound, which means that there's a binding that's covering up. Actually, this is quarter bound. There's paper coming around it covering the spine end, and if you do any kind of corners up here or ends here, that becomes half bound. So this is a white paper. I don't remember what it is. I think this is a black Locta or similar paper. And I cut out automobiles and I applied them to the book boards. They're cut from book board, applied to the book board, and then the paper was moistened and allowed to wrap around that. And I don't know whether it came loose or there's glue under here or it never did tuck in tight. I don't remember. Ideally, it would be tight, and if I do it again, I'm going to make sure that it is. You can do that with leather, too, and with fabric. So when we open this up, there's a title page. This is an 18-inch spread from one end to the other. Let me give us some more room. 18 inches from here to here. And the foredge of these, it's bound at the foredge, so it's actually lined. The whole binding is lined with a red paper. Again, it looks like Locta. And then this is white cardstock, probably 110 pound, I'm guessing. So Road Rage, it's not what you think, is in letterpress. I had a really nice proof press at that time, and I could do this big type, which makes me wonder why I couldn't do it on the spine. So let's get into it. So this is a single image that's over 40 feet long, and it represents the frustration I had with the traffic that I had to drive through going to work for a period of time, actually for 18 years. I taught school for 15 years in a local school district. The drive was 10 minutes, 15 minutes. The school started early in the morning and we got out early afternoon. I think we were out of school at 2:30. I could be home by 3:30 if I really pushed things, 4 if I had meetings and had to hang around. And then I took a job at Indianapolis Public Schools. And I love that job, but I really regretted that I had this horrible commute. It was not very far, 25, 30 miles, but there are days it was an hour and a half each way, Heck, if there was snow, it could be 3 hours each way. It was just destroying me that I had no time to do art, no time to spend with my kids. And this book is a response to that. Obviously, I took some time to do that. This was made for a contest. I'm going to cut to the chase and tell you I won that contest. It was a book celebration. It was in Indianapolis. We had a lot of authors, and they'd added an artist book component, and I entered that and won this the first year they did that. In fact, that was the only year they did it because that festival never happened again. I don't know why not. Doesn't matter. So I'm just going to flip through this and explain a little bit about what I did. So the medium is 110-pound cardstock. The pen is Sharpie. I use Sharpie pen, Sharpie fine line marker, and then those big fat Sharpie markers. I think I used actually 4 different thicknesses of Sharpies. And in fact, this book, 10, 15 years later, still reeks of Sharpie. And to do the research for it, other than sitting in this traffic all day, every single day, I sat at an intersection near my home on the same highway. And I sat there with my camera and I shot pictures at approximately the height of the window of my car. My car's in here. I can't find it. I don't remember where I put it. At one point, it was going to be painted. I don't know. I decided not to do that for whatever reason. So we have 27 panels, 18 inches long, just showing the gridlock that I experienced on this highway, State Road 37 on the northeast corner of Indianapolis. It locked up in several spots, locked up in Fishers, getting onto I-69, locked up again in Castleton, getting into the city and moving on to 465 if I chose to do that. And then I-70 locked up almost every day if I came in that way. I learned not to. And I spent a lot of time lamenting sitting in traffic. They're all to scale, obviously, so this semi takes up. It's included in 3 spreads. It doesn't take up 3 spreads. And again, they're all from the height of my car window, so a lot of things I can't see up, can't see down, I just see over. I chose to keep it simple. I didn't shadow anything. It's just black and white. No color. I think that's it. That is it. So the impact, a couple things about a binding like this that make it unique and interesting is, since it's bound in hardback on the foredge, it doesn't have to be. You can do the same thing with ribbons on the book we're actually going to make in this first class. But it can be like we just did. You can turn pages like a book. And I think that's really important to be able to do in a book. But you can also open it up. So we could take this book and we can open it up and then we can expand it out its entire 40 feet. In fact, I have pictures somewhere of this book open with students, and you can't open it all the way because of the hard back, but you can open up wide, or you can make a big circle on a giant table. We can tip it up. Let me get this put back together. Great artist books are all about manipulation, aren't they? But we can take this book and we can make it a star where you can explore down into each of the different spokes. Like I said, you can open up big. You want to put it around the perimeter of a table. There's just a lot of ways that this book can be explored and experienced. And I think when we talk about artist books, it's about providing an experience for the viewers. It's not, we struggle because we don't know what to put in these books. We don't all have the means to print. We don't all have the means to write or have meaningful text in a traditional sense. With an artist book, you don't have to. It's an experience. And it's very, very interesting and an interesting challenge to find many ways to provide a book, a media where people can approach it in different directions and experience in different ways. So I think I've done that in this book. And I really like to explore doing this more. I like the idea of a linear story told in massive proportions, even though it's something that fits in a relatively small case. So back to me. So if you're interested in making books, artist books, and interesting structures like this, you can study with me here in my studio once the pandemic is over. I'm in Noblesville, Indiana, and I will periodically have book arts and letterpress classes focused on books and broadsides. I also teach classes in woodworking, building ukuleles, leatherwork. I'm missing something, I'm sure. But I would love to have you come to the studio. In the meantime, we're doing these Zoom classes, and I've got them coming up, many coming up. We're doing a nature journaling class beginning next month. It's a continuation. I shouldn't say that. It is, in addition to, we did an introduction to nature journal last month, but it's not a continuation. It's other projects, other approaches in the same media. We're going to do a book arts class. We're starting Tuesday on Zoom. It's filled, but I've got another one scheduled for July. We don't have any students in that yet, but we will soon. I haven't talked about it. I want to get this one launched first. And I know I have another class, and I know I'm excited about it. Wood carving. I have carving little bird class. So my kind of claim to fame, that's not even a fair way to say it. My go-to genre, my go-to project, what people know me for is carving small birds. And I will be teaching that beginning in July. We've got 3 students already. I'd like to get more for that class. And the way we're doing that is I'm sending kits out. So if you're taking a book arts class or you're taking a carving class, you receive in the mail an envelope full of the materials that you need, and then we'll sit here and talk together like we are now, only live, in person. And then the recordings will be available for you to study and go on with. So from here in my basement studios in Noblesville, Indiana, oh, we can hear the fire trucks. We have a fire department across the street. Here in the basement studios in Noblesville, Indiana, I say goodbye, and I really hope to see you soon. Thank you so much.